Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. And finally, I'm back to uploading my racing videos from Assettocorsacompetizione. Lately, I've only been concentrating on figuring out how the game works and the different dynamics which I can bring to you regarding the game modes and the different cars in the game. But doing all that practice made me realize that I was not progressing in the game and I was not racing as much as I wanted to. So I have decided to do more races now, and will be uploading them as and when I do it, and also the gameplay from other video games as well. So let's get this video going on, and we'll be starting with the championship mode. And I've selected the Ferrari. It's one of the best cars in the game, and I really like it, and it handles really well. And for an amateur like me, it's a really forgiving car. So let's see how we perform in the championship series. When you begin the championship mode, you get the option of selecting what type of races you want to do and the season you want. The season selection decides what cars are available for you to choose, and also the race type determines what cars are available to choose. If you select only the endurance races, then you only get offered the cars which are there in the endurance series in the real life. And if you choose both, then you get offered the sprint series sprint races cars as well, but only in the 2018 season. In the 2019 season, I found Ferrari was not there when I selected all race types, that is including sprint and endurance. Also, I'm playing this on the console version on the PS4, and I don't know how it is on the PC version, but I don't think it should be any different than what it is here. So let's begin with the championship mode. Firstly, I would like to tell you that this was one of my best races I've done till now in any racing game, and not for the fact that we did some overtakes and our overall pace was better, but because of the conditions that we were in, and I was able to manage through it, which you will see later in the video. And the reason why I am uploading this race, because I made a huge blunder while editing it. Somehow I deleted the first half of the race, so I do not have the footage of first part of the race, and ideally I would not post half a race video, and it also doesn't look nice that I'm uploading a video which is incomplete. But I wanted to share with you what my experience was in the race and how good it was. So unfortunately, I'll just have to narrate to you what happened during the first part of the race and how we got to where the actual footage of the video starts. Right now what you're seeing are the replay highlights of the later part of the race only. I really wish I had the previous video. I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know how it got deleted. Also, I found out later that the game does not record the whole replay of the race. It only records only the last few laps of the race. I was really disappointed by that. So I couldn't reuse my replays as well to show you what happened initially. But it is what it is, and I'll quickly try to explain how it was in the beginning. So the options you get when you start the championship mode is you decide for each race how many minutes of practice you want and how many minutes of practice, qualifying and race you want. This was a 3-hour endurance race, but it gave me the option to adjust the race length. Since this was my first time attempting the championship mode, I thought to keep it short and not at 3 hours or 1 hour. I could have made it 1 hour, but I thought maybe let's try this on first with half an hour, and then I can maybe increase the race length. Also, the conditions are wet with light rain, and whatever little experience I have in this game with wet conditions, I thought that it was better that I start with 30 minutes and see how I can do in wet conditions. So this first race is at Monza, endurance race, and it has 3 stints of drivers, so 3 different drivers we have to change. So in qualifying we did okay, and we managed to start the race with the 5th position. And it was raining when the race started, so it was full wet conditions with wet tires, and the start was okay. No one hit into anyone. After the first 2 corners, I was at 3rd position, being able to overtake 2 cars, and at the end of first lap I was in the 2nd position, and there was a Mercedes ahead of us, and we were maintaining in second position for the next few laps. Eventually the driver's stint was coming to its end, and we were instructed to pit within a stipulated time before the driver's stint time is over, so you have to do that. And the track was starting to dry up, and one thing that caught me off guard was I thought the tire management is done by the game, and it would advise me what tires are best suited for the conditions, and it will put on those tires when I go into the pits, like it happens in the Formula 1 where you have the option of changing it, but the race engineer decides it on the track conditions, and you can just follow that as well. But here, to my surprise, when I went into the pits, we got a new set of dry tires as it was shown on the pit strategy page. I thought this was done by the race engineer only, and maybe the track was drying up, so that's why we have the dry tires on. And initially everything looked fine, but as soon as I came out of the pits, I realized that my tire pressure and temperatures were dropping, and they were not rising at all. I really thought that maybe, okay, this is the starting of the lap, and maybe after a while the temperatures and the pressures will start to rise, and also the track was drying up, so I thought maybe, okay, I have done a cutback and I will be able to avoid myself another pit stop of changing onto the dry tires. But throughout that lap, the pressures kept dropping, the temperature kept dropping, and the tires were stone cold blue. At the end of my out lap, I saw that the car in the lead again went into the pits, so I really thought that he was going in for the dry tires, and we have done the cutback, but the tires were still cold, and the track was, though drying up, it was still a bit wet. And now we have the game footage, and as you can see, as we have crossed the first corner going into the third and fourth corners, we have the dry tires with absolutely blue cold tires with low pressures, and they are not rising, and so I knew it was going to be difficult. And as you can see, we have gone off the track a bit. This is because of the cold tires and low pressures. So we have to adjust our strategy and brake very early, be very conscious with the car, and any slight mistake will overthrow the car into a big spin and can take me out of the race altogether. As coming up to the Ascari now, and we have slightly outbraked ourselves and gone off the track into the gravel, and as we come back on the road, we have spun, and so straight away we can see some cars going past us, and from the first position we are down to second, barely able to turn the car properly, and we missed by this car just by that much. If that car would have hit us, it would have been game over. So now, because of cold tires, I am at the 5th position from first, and I'm just trying to see here, do we have to do the changes, or is it made for us? And at this point of time, I really thought to myself whether I should restart the race or continue. I thought that, okay, let's stick with it and let's see what we can do with this, and whatever place we get, we'll accept it. So someone has gone into the pits, and we are 4th in position now, and now we have to do some catching up, because we have this driver stint for another 10 minutes, and we'll just try to make our way up, and have to increase our pace, keeping in mind we have cold tires, and being cautious for that as well. So now jumping a bit ahead in the race, and we're at the same lap, but again coming up the Ascari, and we are trying to reduce the gap, but the cars seem just a little bit faster at this moment, because we are on dry and the track condition is wet, even though it looks like it's getting drier, but still I don't think dry tires will do that good here, and we were able to manage the Ascari well that time. So we are crossing the pits right now, and again coming up on the first and second corners of the track. And we brake very late. I was hard on my brakes not to go into the car ahead, and barely managed to slow down before hitting into him. And this is our opportunity here, so we overtake one car and going in for the move before the third corner on the Audi, and we have outbraked him, braking so hard into the corner, still fully almost applying full brake, and we are able to make that corner. This is one of my best overtaking I've done till now. It was clean and on adverse conditions. So now just trying to hold the position and increase the gap. We are now up to second position, and we have another 9 minutes in the race to go. So this whole race is going to be my constant struggle with keeping the car on the track and braking and accelerating as smoothly as possible. This, however, was a very humbling experience for me, as trying to control the car in these conditions was really something, and it was well reflected by this game. The physics is so good that it makes you realize all the things that are going on around on the track. So we have chosen the Ferrari with the Rinaldi Racing. So we have the great David Perel yet to come for his stint, and really hoping that driving as David Perel will help us in winning this race, and also being able to have some magic of David Perel with us. Let's see. For the Ascari now, I am braking way early. My normal braking point in this game is usually that overhead banner bridge, whatever you can call. I braked when I am exactly under it, but here I am braking slightly before that, so as to give myself that additional distance required for these cold tires. And you can see that the temperatures and the pressures are just not increasing. The left side is starting to become slightly blue, but the front right tire is absolutely cold. So now we've been advised that we can pit now, as the driver's stint is coming to an end, and as you can see on the MFD, we have to do all these changes. So if I go just like this, it will be a disqualification, because we are not refueling and we are not changing the tires as required. And now I was thinking of changing it, but I realized that not right now. Maybe on the next straight I can probably do that. So just trying to take these corners one by one. And as you can see, we are number 1 now, because the leader must have pitted for his stint end, and we'll do these changes once we cross the Ascari. Braking just before that banner and turning left into the first corner, slightly off the throttle now, and now we can go full throttle. And we have this long straight now to help us. So since it's an endurance race, you are required to refuel. I did not know at the starting of the race, and I refueled for the whole race, as it was only 30 minutes. But later I realized in the first stint only that we have to refuel. That's mandatory. And we selected change tires to yes. But still, the compound, I left it at dry. I forgot to change it to wet. I don't know what I was thinking. So we just come to a stop into our pit box. You have to stop within those red box that is provided, otherwise the game does not consider it as a stop, and the time will continue to go on until you either reverse back or pull forward to come exactly into that box. So now we are done with our pit stop, and we have David Perel with us. We are driving as David Perel, and let's see if we can bring it home for David Perel and the Rinaldi Racing in this race. So now you can see we have the tire temperatures are green. I thought, okay, maybe this was the right move. So we finally have good tires, temperatures and pressures, and we can start to increase our lead now. But you will notice slowly that the tires were dropping in pressures, and they are starting to become bluish. as I happened to notice that just now as I went off the track. So we're just trying to concentrate really hard on this one and trying to do it as perfectly as possible with the tires continuously growing darker and darker. So overall we are able to somehow get things going, and there will be one moment of loss of concentration from my side where I almost ended my race for myself, but somehow was able to recover from it. As you can see here, and I just prevented myself from spinning out completely. If that would have been a total spin, I definitely would have lost a few places. Somehow we managed to pass through that, and we are still number one. The second position is around 7 seconds behind us, so we would have recovered, but who knows how bad of a spin it would have been. Coming up to the final corner now, and the checkered flag is here, and to our respite we have finished first in the race. I must tell you, it's a very satisfying feeling. A bit frustrating it was as to the mistakes that I've made in the game of not realizing to go with the wet tires and keep making it difficult for myself, but somehow we made it stick. And probably since we were racing as David Perel, we managed to finish first. So I hope seeing my mistakes will help you not to make those, and be very careful in this game regarding the tires and the conditions, as you have to make the call for the change of tires. The race engineer does provide you with some recommendations, as I have seen, when he says wet tires optimum or slick tires optimum. Since he did not mention it here, I probably shouldn't have gone on the dry tires and made the race hard for myself. And probably if the race was an hour long or 3 hours long endurance like it was, I probably would have plebed it totally. But luckily we survived that scare, and finally able to enjoy this animation of our first victory in Assettocorsacompetizione. I hope you liked the video and appreciate it, and if you do, please do give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you next time with another entertaining video. Thanks for watching.